Mr. Edit Man presents. What's the smoothest thing you have ever done? Caught half full mug of coffee with my left hand that had just slid across the dashboard of my pickup and fell out the driver's side window while continuing to negotiate a right turn. Did not spill very much or burn myself. Handed it back to my passenger and asked her not to put hot coffee on the dashboard. It was a once in a lifetime moment of glory. I was in my high school freshman pair class, which was also shared with girls' athletics pair. It was filled with all the hot girls that played volleyball and softball. I asked my pair instructor if we could have a free day that day, and he sort of shrugged off my request. Then a few minutes later, he got everyone's attention, about 100 people, and handed me a basketball. He announced that if I make a half-court shot, we would get a free day. I instantly felt like a dumbass for casually asking for a free day. I approached half-court, focused, and lobbed it up. Nothing but net. Free day. I felt like the man. In grade 7, I was a complete loser. We were in gym class and playing basketball, which I sucked at. For some reason, near the end of the game, I got a free throw. I have no idea why. People started grumbling about it, and about how much I sucked. Well, I nailed it, and they gave the ball to me again. Now, I have no idea why they kept giving me this ball to throw in the net, but they did. And I tossed it nicely into the net 4 times before I missed and they took it away. However, I was still a complete loser. I was at a Walmart with my then girlfriend, picking out red box movies for a nice, quiet evening. Next to the red box was one of those claw machines filled with stuffed animals, the kind you see in movie theaters, bowling alleys, Chuck E. Cheese's, etc. While the girl was picking out a movie, I casually walked over to the claw machine. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I'm about to win you a goddamn bear," I coolly responded, and I did. 1 quarter, 1 attempt, 1 bear. The good people of Walmart who had seen this go down applauded, and I walked into the parking lot, arm in arm with a glowing girlfriend. I have got one, but no one saw it happen. No one believes me. I was 16 years old, hanging out by myself at a softball field. I was waiting for some friends to arrive to have a home run derby. My car was parked behind the backstop on the outside of the fence. I was pretty bored, so I decided to hit some balls to the outfield, run out to them, and hit them back towards the backstop. So I'm in the outfield, about 250 feet from home plate, 300 feet from my car. I was not hitting any bombs, but I definitely was not trying to keep the ball in the yard. I take a swing and I absolutely destroyed the ball. It was a moonshot. I was amazed for the first 2 seconds, and then I made out the trajectory. It was headed straight for my car. I put my hands on my head and braced for a shattered windshield. I waited. Nothing. No sound. I must have missed it. I decided to go retrieve the ball. I get behind the backstop and start walking around my car. I cannot find it anywhere. I look under the car. Nothing. And then I notice that my sunroof is open. I'm thinking no. Ducking. Way. Sure enough, in the backseat cup holder lies the ball. I looked around for any witnesses, but no one saw it happen. I knew to keep this story to myself, though. It was very unbelievable. To sum it up, hit a baseball 300 feet into my car's sunroof, landing it in the backseat cup holder. Middle school. I was eating lunch with my girlfriend. The wannabe cool, bully, douche kids were taunting us. One of them said he was going to throw an apple at my head. He reached for his apple. I raised my hand to get the lunch monitor's attention so I could tell on him. Bully douche chucks the apple and it hits my palm. I caught it out of reflex. I was shocked but did not show it. Instead, I took a bite of the apple and said, "That's it?" His buddies were amazed and they left. That night. Second base. I once killed a fly from across the room with a rubber band. Greatest moment of my life. It's all been downhill since then. We were camping, and I was chopping up some vegetables for a stew. This wasp smelled the food, and was flying around. Mid-conversation, I grabbed the knife, with one hand. With the other, I swatted the wasp out of the air. It landed on the table and I sliced it perfectly in half. This all went down in about 2 seconds. All of my camping buddies and girlfriend had their mouths open with WTF expressions on their faces, and I just kept talking like nothing had happened. Wiped off the blade and kept cooking. I was in my mother's kitchen on Mother's Day cooking her a meal for dinner. We live in the country where bugs, flies, beetles can get pretty bad in the summer. She had been complaining to me about a fly problem she'd been having, and then she proceeded to point out 3 or 4 that were buzzing near the oven light. I'm normally a pacifist. I suppose the phrase, "I'd never hurt a fly" really comes into play here, because I had not really paid them any attention. Well, after about 5 minutes of my mom complaining about the fly problem, I had enough. I brandished the knife with a flash and made 3 successive strokes amongst the group of flies. My mom spoke up. "Great job. You did not kill a one." "Yes," I responded, "but they will never have children." This isn't not something I did but something I witnessed. My sister and I were with her long-term boyfriend. He was a major douche, but in a kinda funny way. He had chopsticks in his hand and he spotted a fly flying around. He said, "I'm going to catch that fly with these chopsticks." Us being girls immediately told him what a dumbass he was and to stop being retarded. He was being so annoying trying to do this. It was clear he would never be able to do this. So stop embarrassing us at the table. Then he caught the fly with the chopsticks. We were so pissed because we knew for the rest of our lives he would never let us forget it. To sum it up, my sister and I were being douches. Her boyfriend shoved it in our face. My campus was completely coated in ice and there was a girl was walking down a large flight of outdoor stairs in front of me. Did the old banana peel slip and started falling backward. I jumped down a step and caught her in motion. Kept my balance, pulled her back up and escorted her the rest of the way down the stairs. Then I simply looked at her, smiled, and said it was a really great to meet you and walked away. I was on a first date with a girl. We were bowling. She chose bowling. I'm a fairly average bowler. I think my highest game ever was a 171. I was bowling a fairly average game. Got to the 10th frame with 130 points or so. I take the ball. I step up. I turn back around and tell her I'm going to throw a turkey. Then I'm going to kiss you. I then proceed to throw 2 strikes in a row. She starts chanting me on ... I throw the third ball, not even facing the pins. I'm looking directly at her. As soon as the ball leaves my hand, I run up to her and we start kissing. Look up, and sure enough, my third throw was a strike. I never was, nor ever will be that cool again. I took twins to prom. I was in a first year matrix algebra course, and the power went out. My teacher is a soft-spoken, funny Russian woman. She hits the light switch a couple times to try and identify the cause of the failure, and I decide to say clap on, and clap my hands. As I do this, the power comes back on, like a boss. I was playing a round of darts at a bar with my friends. I'm normally a very bad dart player, but, for some reason, this night, I was in the zone. We actually drew a small crowd of girls, but my attention was on the waitress who kept bringing us our drinks. I was one double bullseye away from winning when the waitress came up to me and told me that this would be the last round she would bring us because she was leaving for the night. I said, "You cannot leave yet. You have to stay here and watch me win. I just need 2 bullseyes." She told me that she could not wait around long enough for me to get 2. With that, I threw a dart, hit the double bullseye, turned around and smiled at her, then asked for and got her number. Asked a girl out by borrowing a red marker from her, writing my phone number on a post-it, and handing it to her with her marker back while asking her out to dinner. Married her 3 years later. Proposed to her with the ring on the same red marker. While that may sound smooth, realize that I borrowed the red marker because the training we were in required us to make a poster, which I came unprepared to do, and she kept looking at my poster and kind of chuckling as I was drawing all over it in pencil. And that's when she asked if I would like to borrow some markers. I told her yes, but I only needed 1, and did my entire poster in red marker, then asked her out with it. So there was this girl I liked ... We were at this academic conference, and it was a last night together. We were all sitting down to this fairly ritzy dinner, and we had just finished the entree, steak, shrimp-topped garlic mashed potatoes with steamed asparagus, when the waiter came by and served us all coffee. The girl I liked was 1 seat down from me on my right, and between us there was 1 empty chair. When the waiter came by, we both asked for some coffee, so I was talking to someone on my left. The girl dropped her coffee and spilled it all over the table. When I looked over, she just had this devastatingly embarrassed, hunched shoulders, knitted eyebrows look. Everyone at the table went quiet, and she just stared awkwardly at the ground. That's when I turned up, stood up, grabbed my napkin and screamed, "Oh my goodness, I'm such a klutz. What kind of guy manages to spill a girl's coffee from across the table? Jeez." Her face immediately went from sad embarrassment to confusion to a wry smirk. "Yeah, jeez, you're so clumsy. I cannot believe you." I wiped up her spot and flagged down the waiter. explained how clumsy I was, and got her more coffee. Then I told her she should probably move down one spot next to me, since her spot was covered in all that coffee I spilled. To sum it up, girl embarrassed herself. I took all the blame. I live across the street from my parents. My dog stayed in their fence because my backyard was open and I did not want to tie her up. I went out one morning to go to work and noticed my poor dog running away from a bird that was dive bombing her and pecking her on the head. After a second or two, the bird landed on the end post for the fence. So I picked up a tennis ball laying on the porch and threw it at the bird. It was a good 50 yards to where the bird was sitting, and I actually intended to hit the fence so that it would make a loud noise and scare the bird off. So I hucked it pretty good. The second it left my hand, I knew it would hit the bird. Almost a full second later, it hit the bird dead on. There was a big puff of feathers and the bird fell inside the fence. I actually felt kinda bad until my dog went up to investigate. The nudging from my dog apparently brought it around because it squawked loudly and flew onto the roof. Never saw it bother my dog again though. Too bad no one saw it because it totally looked like I meant to do it. I once made a chair in wood shop. Sanded that ditch so smooth that you slid right the duck out of it. At a fair with girlfriend and her family, her little brother pissed himself but nobody noticed, and he was really embarrassed. He told my girlfriend and me, and he did not want his parents to know. I bought apple cider for everyone, then purposely dropped the tray all over his lap. You have made it until the end of this video. Now listen here, and listen here closely. Like and subscribe for more curated content from Mr. Edit Man. Thanks for watching.